Welcome to our YouTube channel where we share interesting movie facts. Join us as we uncover the secrets and trivia behind your favorite films. From classic Hollywood hits to indie gems, we cover it all. So sit back, relax, and enjoy learning something new about the movies you love.
Number 1. Filming started in late 2017. Avengers Endgame had originally been set to debut in early May, but in true MCU fashion, that anticipated date was eventually pushed up to April 22, 2019. It seems like a short time frame considering that filming had just started in August of 2017. On top of that, many of the actors were filming dual Marvel films at once. Ant-Man and the Wasp, which came out in 2018, had been borrowing Paul Rudd and Evangeline Lilly from the set of Endgame, meaning the actors were filming both films at the same time. Number 2. Joe Russo's daughters are in Endgame. The children of Joe Russo had a unique opportunity to try their hand at acting. His daughter, Ava Russo, plays the role of Hawkeye's daughter, Lila Barton, in the opening scene next to Jeremy Renner. Russo's other daughter, Leah Russo, is credited with her own name for her scene with the Hulk. She's the girl who comes up with the two light-haired boys to ask for the Hulk's autograph. Number 3. There's a lot of VFX. It's pretty obvious that there is a ton of technical effort behind the making of Endgame. As awesome as it would be if Thanos' monstrous purple look was all effects makeup, that simply isn't the case. The MCU definitely had the budget, so a lot of what you see in Endgame is with the help of VFX. VFX is simply manipulated imagery that high-budget films like Endgame have the pleasure of using in order to make things like Iron Man's suit look more realistic. Number 4. It took about 1,400 visual effects artists to create the final battle sequence in roughly 16 weeks. One of the most memorable moments in Avengers Endgame is the astonishingly huge climax, which involves seemingly hundreds of Marvel characters fighting for their existence against Thanos. With a number of special effect characters in this scene, it obviously took a lot of people to pull this off. And in true team fashion, it took about 1,400 visual effect artists in order to create this battle sequence under a very tight window frame, a mere 16 weeks. For a month isn't a lot of time to pull off a scene this massive, but the animators were able to pull it off anyhow, and it's one hell of a feat. Number 5. Fans who want to understand the meaning behind Endgame have come to the right place. Endgame describes the final stage of a game such as chess when very few pawns remain on the board. With only a few Avengers remaining and half of the universe destroyed, Endgame is a fitting title for this film. Number 6. Natalie Portman eased her way back into the MCU. Portman, who played Jane Foster in the first 2 Thor movies, disappeared from the MCU after that, including an absence from Thor: Ragnarok. While Portman returned with gusto in Thor: Love and Thunder, this movie was actually the first time Portman returned to Marvel, sort of. Footage from a deleted scene in Thor: Dark World led to a reappearance of Foster, but Portman also provided her voice for a scene where Jane is heard in the distance. Number 7. It was, fittingly, the end of an era. Stan Lee, Marvel's head honcho and creative force, was known for his cameos in Marvel movies. Eventually, it had to come to an end. Lee died late in 2018 at the ripe age of 95. He had filmed 3 cameos before his death yet to be released. The final of those films was Endgame, making his cameo in this movie the last on-screen appearance of Lee. Number 8. It was almost shot simultaneously with Infinity War. Infinity War and Endgame were shot back-to-back, which is onerous enough. It was almost even trickier. Initially, the Russos wanted to shoot the films simultaneously, getting scenes shot with whatever actors were available. Shockingly, they realized this was too complicated, so they went with the back-to-back shoot. Number 9. It made a ton of money its first weekend. Avengers: Infinity War made an incredible $640 million worldwide its opening weekend, which was a new box office record. Endgame didn't just beat that. It almost doubled it. The movie made $1.2 billion in its opening weekend, meaning it hit the rare $1 billion mark in the blink of an eye. Number 10. The movie was the highest-grossing film for a while. In the end, Endgame made $858.3 million domestically and $2.78 billion worldwide. That made it the highest-grossing movie in the world and the second highest-grossing movie domestically of all time. However, a re-release of Avatar overtook Endgame at the world box office. Adjusting for inflation, Endgame is the fifth highest-grossing movie ever. Number 11. It won quite a few awards. Endgame was nominated for Best Visual Effects at the Oscars but did not win. However, it won Best Film awards from the Kids' Choice, Teen Choice, People's Choice, and MTV Movie Awards. This isn't an award, but it is interesting. The Wikipedia page for Endgame was the most viewed article on that website in 2019, being viewed 44.9 million times. Number 12. I Love You 3000 was Robert Downey Jr.'s idea. The film had many catchy dialogues, but this line stayed with us. But did you know that the original line was I love you tons, not I love you 3000? It was actually Robert Downey Jr.'s idea to change to the latter by remembering what one of his children said to him. Interestingly, 3000 meant the whole runtime of all MCU movies until then. Number 13. The first trailer of the film did not have the name of the movie, The Endgame, included in the title. Instead of Avengers Endgame, the title of the trailer just read Marvel Studios Avengers official trailer. Interestingly, the move was taken to surprise MCU fans with the title name at the end of the trailer. Number 14. Ant-Man and the Hulk came together for the first time in the film. Paul Rudd, who played the role of Ant-Man, and Mark Ruffalo, who played the role of the Hulk, come together for the first time in the Avengers Endgame. Number 15. Robert Downey Jr. was paid a whopping amount of $75 million for the Endgame alone. Robert received $500,000 paycheck for Iron Man 2008, but slowly with increasing fame and popularity, the actor hiked his fees with each film. He is not just an actor but a businessman making back-end deals. Number 16. Robert Downey Jr. was the only cast member who read the full script for Avengers Endgame. There is a lot of secrecy that goes into the making of a Marvel movie. Certainly, when it came time to shoot Avengers Endgame, there was a lot on the line. Only the top brass could glimpse the script from first page to last. Even the cast members were only given their own respective pages to read, well, all except one. As it turns out, Robert Downey Jr. was only one actor who got to read the script from beginning to end. Obviously, the A-list actor was at the forefront of this cinematic universe, so during his final hours in the franchise, it's only fitting that he was the first one to get the full glimpse of the story. Number 17. The screenwriters started writing Infinity War and Endgame during the making of Captain America: Civil War. You don't write movies like Avengers, Infinity War and Avengers Endgame overnight. It takes a lot of planning, staging, back and forth and retooling to crack the code on these monstrously large movies. Sure enough, it literally took years for screenwriters Christopher Marcus and Stephen McFeely to finish work on these blockbusters, and they were working on them while the Russo brothers were filming Captain America: Civil War. Sure enough, they had many busy days bouncing between bulky scripts, though they got extra help from Eric Pearson, Thor: Ragnarok.
We hope you enjoyed learning some fascinating movie facts with us today. If you want to keep up with our latest content and never miss out on any behind-the-scenes trivia, be sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications. We'll see you in the next video with even more amazing movie facts.